Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to welcome to the programme Ethan Sparks. Ethan, how old are you? Are you 13 now?
Yeah, I'm 13, but in, I think it's 2 weeks, I turn 14.
Hey, happy birthday, mate. You're a motorcycle racer, and I've seen some awesome photographs of you getting your elbow down and nearly your shoulder down. It must be absolutely exhilarating to be out there on a track on a bike.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, over the years, my style's progressed, and yeah, as you say now, it's elbow down and shoulder right off. So yeah.
I mean, I ride a bike, but I am in awe of anybody who can do that sort of stuff. I really am. You have been racing in Austria in the FIM Mini GP series?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you got, what was it, 6 wins out of 6 races?
6 wins out of 8 races.
8 races.
But the 2 races, all I needed to do was stay on and finish second or so just to secure the championship. So that's what I aimed for, really. And
you've been racing in the ESBK, which is the Pre-Moto 3 in Spain.
Yeah, I have. We started off with a slightly difficult start with the setup of the bike, because we went to it and we are a privateer team compared to all the full-blown teams in it. So we struggled at the start, but towards, I think it was Estoril, the second Estoril, we got the bike sorted, and I managed to get my best qualified of P3 and was fighting in the front group.
Wow.
And then at Jerez, the last round, I was 5th the whole time in practice and qualifying, and I was fighting in the front group in the races and managed to take the lead at one point.
Oh, wow. Now that takes some doing. I mean, what sort of bikes are we talking about?
Well, the Mini GP is an Ovali 190, so it's a 12-inch wheel bike and made for kart circuits. But they do have quite a lot of power. But then you have the Pre-Moto 3 is a 250 Yamaha engine with 17-inch wheels, so it's basically the equivalent of a ETC bike, just a different make of chassis.
That's almost like the Moto GP, the smaller Moto GP bikes, isn't it?
Yeah, very similar to Moto 3, just quite a bit less power, but yeah, no, very similar.
Although you've got less power, it doesn't mean to say that you go slower, because, as I say, I've seen you, and you must be really wringing the neck of that thing.
Yeah, no, they're 250s, but they do go well on big tracks. I mean, the Moto 4, which is what I did last year, is still a 17-inch wheel bike, but it's actually a 150 engine, so down the Aragon Straight, I mean, it felt like ages, because they haven't got a lot of power, but they're just basically a lower power bike for younger people, but it was really good racing.
So when you get out there, when you're on the start line, roughly how many other riders are there with you? Well,
in the Austrian series, there was about 13 riders, but at the World Final, there was at least 33 in the whole thing, and I think there was 22 on the main race grid.
Wow.
And then in the Pre-Moto 3, it started off about 33 people, but it went down to about 28 or something at the end.
Now, it must be very difficult doing this as well as schoolwork.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I have to catch up quite a lot, but the most difficult part is homework, because if I get to check homework while I'm in Spain, I can't do it when it's due, really. So yeah, no, it's quite difficult.
But you got to do the schoolwork to be able to progress, I guess.
Yeah.
Now you've got some good people behind you. Michael Lavitz's academy, and you're coached by Danny Webb.
Yeah, Danny. Yeah, I have Chaz Mortimer, who's practically my manager, and he does all my sponsorship. I mean, Chaz has helped us out so much, but we have many sponsors like Furian Leathers, Nolan Helmet, many others. But the Jazz has mainly found out most of those sponsors for me, and including someone called Neil Johnson who also helps with finding me sponsors. So yeah, we have quite a few people helping us, really.
Now, Chaz Mortimer is an ex-Isle of Man TT Grand Prix winner.
Yeah, 8-time Isle of Man TT. Yeah,
so
8 times.
So he knows what he's doing then.
Yeah, I mean, he rode the old-fashioned way as such, but he still can pick out what would be wrong with my gearing or the suspension from watching me ride. So, yeah, he's very helpful in most ways.
Now, obviously, with what you're doing, the most important thing is it ain't cheap.
Yeah.
The bike, travelling, everything, all the support, everything that's necessary to do what you do, you need sponsorship, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot, but racing is expensive, but those sponsors help out quite a lot, but most of it, a lot of it, or the rest of it, is funded by my mum and dad. So,
wow.
Yeah, especially the travel costs, like hotels, planes, all of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, because, I mean, if you're over in Spain, for instance, I mean, there's the cost of flights, but there's also the cost of transporting the bike, the team, the support, I mean, you know, everything. It's...
Yeah, well, we actually have a team. Well, we actually have a person who helps take our bikes, all our stuff, to the rounds in Spain, which really helps us because obviously we can't take them from, because there's Estoril and then there's Aragon and then there's Jerez. They're all over Spain, so it'd be very difficult for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, he really helped us out.
And when you figure out the budget that, say, a GP team's got, let alone a Formula One team, but a normal GP team, there is an incredible amount of money thrown at that. And you've got to do it as a privateer, all on your own.
Yeah, I mean, being a privateer, it is a smaller amount of difference cheaper. But say you were to pay for one of the top teams, I mean, it's 60-odd grand, which we can't afford. So it's just crazy money to spend at this time.
Is the eventual aim to ride for one of the top teams?
Well, the top teams are like, they're all over ETC, they're in all the classes, but it's too expensive, if I'm honest. But
yeah, you need one of those teams to adopt you, don't you? You know, like Ducati or Yamaha, Suzuki or somebody like that to come along and say, yeah, you come and ride for us.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, any Moto GP team I'll be happy with. It's my dream, really.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So you're racing now in the UK because you haven't been able to race in the UK because you haven't been old enough yet?
Yeah, no. Well, we are doing the BTC next year because the age limit was 14. But you still can't train in England, so, like, on a big track. So, like Silverstone, Brands. So we'll have to go to Spain to ride on the big circuits on a 17-inch wheel bike. But yeah, we're hoping, well, we are doing the BTC next year.
So where will you train in Spain? Will it be Jerez or Estoril?
I mean, all over, really. There's many big tracks. I mean, the most common ones we go to are Cartagena, Almeria, but then there's some small tracks as well that we train on, still on the big bikes, but yeah, just a little bit big bike on a small track is a lot more difficult than riding it on a big track.
No, I was going to say, if you come to Jerez, I'll come up and see you. It's only a couple of 100 miles from me.
Yeah.
But listen.
We do train at Jerez.
Well, when you do, let me know, and we'll get a gang together, and we'll come up and cheer you on.
Yeah, well.
When you're out there, you have to be so focused, don't you?
Especially in the racing, yeah. Because, I mean, if you're not focused, then you don't perform. Because once you get the helmet on, you're just, like, in a zone as such, but you don't really think about anything else.
I mean, I know, as I say, I ride a bike. I don't ride anything like you do. But if I put as you say, when you put that helmet on, that's it. You are focused on what's going on ahead, around, everywhere. So to do what you do at those kind of speeds must be so demanding.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really notice the speed until you go to brake. But from the step from small bike to the Moto 4 wasn't as big of a step, because Moto 4s are quick, but they feel slow on the big tracks.
Yeah.
But when I went from the Moto 4 to the NSF and NSF 250 and pre-Moto 3, I did see a difference then in acceleration and braking.
Are these 2-stroke or 4-stroke bikes?
4-stroke bikes, but we used to. My first big wheel bike was a Metrokit 125.
Yeah.
That I rode at Harris and the small other track.
The other thing is, you yourself have to be very physically fit, don't you?
Yeah, I have a personal trainer that I go to like once a week, but I also have a gym membership at my local gym, so I go there 4 times a week. But I also ride to school and that, so to try and get a bit more fit. So yeah, no, quite physical.
It's one of those things, isn't it? People don't realise that, okay, you see somebody out on the circuit and they're giving it loads and they're going over the other way and they're hanging their legs over. What it takes to get to that situation, the training, the physical exertion, the money, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's crazy how much money, how much time and how much training I've done to get where I am. I mean, I started when I was 3 on a motocross bike, and when I was 5, I was already racing on track. So that's like 7 years ago. That was 7-8 years ago that I started racing on tarmac. So I mean, it's a long time and a lot of money.
Absolutely. So we've decided that the final aim is to get into a big team and become a Danny Pedrosa or Martinez or something like that. Can you see that happening? I mean, how difficult is it to get into these teams, to be noticed by these teams?
It is quite difficult, but there's the MLAV team that notice, the prize of winning the British Talent Cup that we're hoping to get, take you on to ETC and then Junior GP. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I mean, I don't know because I haven't experienced it, but I suppose it'll be quite difficult to get noticed by a Moto 3 team. But then there's also the MLAV Moto 3 team that if you go through the ranks of their team, you might move up to that. But yeah, no, it is quite difficult, especially Moto GP team.
Yeah, well, we need a British bloke in the Moto GP. I mean, come on, we need one. We haven't got one at the moment, so it'd be great to have one.
Okay,
Now, listen, if we can get anybody who is interested or anybody who'd like to find out a little bit more about sponsoring you in this campaign, they'd need to, get in touch with Chaz. Should I be talking to your dad for this bit?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I do have an Instagram account, which is Ethan Sparks, Sparky62, and I also have a Facebook account, which is run by my dad, Sparky #62.
Sparky #62.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Well,
which are run by my dad. So.
Right, so the boss runs that one. If there is anybody who thinks they would like to be involved in this, which I think is a fantastic thing, then Sparky #62, look it up and find out. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Ethan Sparks, thank you so much for talking with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've got our fingers, toes, eyes, knees, legs and everything else crossed that you do extremely well, and we see you on the telly in MotoGP.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure. All the best. Take care. Ride safe.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.